Hi students, it's Miss Sinha. So today I went to the library and I got this book called Lan Po Po. And the subtitle is A Little Red Riding Hood Story from China. I thought that was really cool because I'm very familiar with Little Red Riding Hood. I've read it many times, but it's always been this version, the original version written by the Brothers Grimm in Germany. So what we're going to do today is take a look at these two books. Both are Little Red Riding Hood stories, but they're from different countries. Lan Po Po is written by Ed Young in China, and Little Red Riding Hood was written by the Brothers Grimm in Germany. So let's dig deeper and see what is similar and what is different about these two books. So let's review the two books now. And while we're doing that, let's think of 4 key questions. First, who are the main characters? Second, what are they doing? Third, where are they doing it? And fourth, how are they solving the main problem in the book? Let's look at the Brothers Grimm version first. In this book, a girl, nicknamed Little Red Riding Hood, sets out through the woods to visit her grandmother. On the way, she meets a scary wolf. While Little Red Riding Hood is picking flowers for her grandmother, the wolf scurries off to her grandmother's house and eats her up. Then the wolf puts on grandmother's robe and bonnet and climbs into her bed, pretending to be her. When Little Red Riding Hood arrives, she thinks that the wolf is her grandmother, but the scary wolf eats her up too. Thankfully, a nice hunter finds the wolf with his belly very full and saves Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother from inside of the wolf's belly. Now let's take a look at Lan Po Po. In this book, 3 sisters are at home alone while their mother is on her way to visit their grandmother. The girls hear a knock at the door, and it's a wolf pretending to be their grandmother. At first, they believe it is actually their grandmother, but they soon realize that it's a scary wolf. The oldest sister comes up with a plan. The girls climb up a tall ginkgo tree and begin eating ginkgo nuts. The wolf wants some nuts, but the girls tell him they are magic and can only be eaten if plucked from the tree. So the wolf realizes he must find a way to come up to the tree. The girls convince the wolf to climb into a basket, and they pull the basket up by a rope. At the end, they let go of the rope. The wolf falls to his death, but the girls are safe and sound. So now that we've finished reviewing the books, let's go back to our who, what, where, and how questions and see how the books compare with one another. First, who? Who are the main characters in these books? In Lan Po Po, we have 3 sisters that are the main characters, while in Little Red Riding Hood, we only have 1 main character. Now on to our second question. What is the main problem in each book? This one is pretty similar. Both books have a scary wolf who's dressing up as the main character's grandmother in order to cause trouble. Our next comparing and contrasting question has to do with setting, or where the story takes place. This one is very different. In Lan Po Po, the main characters are in their own house and outside in their yard in a tree. In Little Red Riding Hood, the main character leaves her house. She's out in the forest and at her grandmother's. Time for our last question. How do the main characters in each book solve the central problem? In Lan Po Po, the main characters come up with their own plan to convince the wolf to be lifted up into the tree. Little Red Riding Hood, on the other hand, depends on somebody else to help her. A nice hunter walking through the woods saves her and her grandmother from inside of the wolf's belly. All right, well, we've answered all of the questions that we set out to answer. They've really helped me figure out the similarities and the differences between Lan Po Po and Little Red Riding Hood. I hope it's helped you too. Now let's summarize everything we just learned using this really neat tool called a Venn diagram. So on this Venn diagram, the things that are on the left only happen in Little Red Riding Hood. The things that are on the right only happen in Lan Po Po, and the things in the middle where the circles overlap are similar in both stories. So in Little Red Riding Hood, there's 1 main character. She's in the forest and at her grandma's house, and a hunter helps her at the end. In Lan Po Po, there are 3 main characters. Those main characters are at home or in their backyard, and they make their own plan to save themselves from the wolf. In the middle, we see that the similarity is that there's a wolf pretending to be grandma in both stories. All right, readers, thanks so much for helping me with today's comparison. I hope you learned a lot. I know I did. And it made me realize how lucky I feel to be able to read books from so many different cultures and parts of the world, like China and Germany. Next time you're comparing books from different cultures, remember to ask yourself some of the key questions that we asked today. Who are the main characters? What kinds of problems are they solving? Where are they? And how are they solving their problems? These questions will hopefully help you figure out things that are similar and things that are different about the different books you're reading. You could even use a Venn diagram. All right, readers, have fun!